Chosen one, you need to understand something very clearly. When heaven decides to move, nothing on earth can stop it. When God assigns a mission on your behalf, every delay, every obstacle, every closed door, every enemy, every setback suddenly becomes irrelevant. The moment heaven steps in, the entire spiritual realm begins shifting around your destiny. And right now, heaven has stepped in for you. There is a reason your spirit has been restless. There is a reason you've been feeling a strange anticipation, as if something big is coming, but you can't explain it yet. There is a reason you've been sensing movement around you in the unseen realm. Heaven has begun mobilizing for you, silently, powerfully, strategically. Chosen ones never receive blessings in ordinary ways. Your journey is different. Your timing is different. Your process is different. When you want something deeply, that desire is not just emotion. It is spiritual communication. It is heaven revealing that something connected to your destiny is ready to manifest. But because you are chosen, you had to go through preparation seasons. You had to face delays that felt like punishment, setbacks that felt unfair, waiting periods that felt endless. You cried, you prayed, you questioned, you wondered if God had forgotten you. But God was not ignoring you. He was preparing the realm around you. Heaven's mission does not begin when you start praying. Heaven's mission begins the moment God decides the time is right. And chosen one, the time is right now. The delays you faced were not denials. They were divine construction zones. Heaven was building the right environment, the right connections, the right opportunities, the right path, so that when your blessing arrived, nothing could sabotage it. Think about it. If you had received what you wanted earlier, you might not have been ready. You might have mishandled it. You might have doubted it. You might have lacked the wisdom, the maturity, or the stability to sustain it. God wasn't withholding. He was shaping. Heaven only moves when all pieces are aligned. Heaven only acts when your spirit is prepared. Heaven only releases when the blessing will not break you, but build you. This is why the wait felt so long. This is why certain things didn't work out before. This is why relationships, opportunities, and plans fell apart. Heaven was clearing the path. And here's the part most people do not understand. When something is truly meant for a chosen one, heaven becomes responsible for delivering it. Not you, not people, not luck. Heaven itself becomes your provider. What you want, whether it is love, success, spiritual elevation, peace, stability, purpose, or destiny, heaven has taken it as a mission. Angels are moving on your behalf. Doors are loosening, hearts are shifting, situations are bending. What felt impossible a year ago is becoming simple now. Why? Because heaven is applying pressure where you could not. Chosen one, think back on your life. Every major blessing you've ever received came in a moment you didn't expect. Every breakthrough came after a season of spiritual heaviness, confusion, or silence. That is how heaven works with the chosen ones. God hides his hand, then suddenly reveals it with power. Right now, you are in that divine moment. Heaven has heard your desires. Heaven has examined your heart. Heaven has seen your growth. You stayed faithful even when life didn't make sense. You kept praying even when you felt unheard. You kept believing even when your faith shook. That is why heaven is moving, not because you begged for it, but because you matured into it. Heaven does not reward emotion. Heaven rewards alignment. And heaven has determined that you are aligned. The storm you went through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you. The loneliness you felt was not abandonment. It was preparation. The confusion was not punishment. It was spiritual recalibration. Everything you endured brought you to this moment. Heaven is on mission for you now, not someday, not eventually, now. And the very thing you want, chosen one, will no longer stay out of your reach. Heaven has taken your desire and turned it into an assignment. What you want is connected to who you are. Chosen one, listen carefully. The things you deeply desire are not random. They are not accidents. They are not illusions of your imagination. Your desires, your real desires, the ones that come from your soul and keep returning no matter how much life tries to silence them, are connected directly to who you are in the spirit. What you want is tied to your identity. Your longing is tied to your calling. Your desire is tied to your destiny. There is a reason you cannot shake this particular desire. There is a reason it keeps resurfacing even after disappointment. There is a reason you feel drawn towards certain blessings, opportunities, and experiences with a spiritual intensity that other people do not understand. That is because, chosen one, your desire is a divine signal. It is heaven's whisper. It is revelation hidden inside longing. Chosen ones are born with a deep internal compass, an inner pull toward what God has prepared for them. This compass does not operate with logic or timing or convenience. It operates with destiny. Heaven places desires inside you the way a master builder marks where the foundation must go. That desire you have is not simply emotional, it is prophetic. It reveals where heaven is leading you. This is why the enemy has always tried to attack your wants. This is why people tried to convince you to settle for less. This is why life pushed you toward paths that never matched your spirit. This is why you felt like a misfit in environments where others felt satisfied. You were never meant to desire ordinary things. Your desires have always been shaped by God, not by the world. Think about it. There are people around you who want temporary pleasures, quick fixes, shallow validation. But you crave something deeper. You want love that aligns with your soul. You want success that carries purpose. You want a life that feels meaningful. You want a future that reflects your spirit. These desires are the signature of a chosen one. God placed these desires inside you long before you were born. Scripture says, He placed eternity in the hearts of men. That means your desires carry eternity. They carry spiritual fingerprints. They carry destiny codes. And here is the powerful truth. Heaven responds to desires that heaven itself planted. When what you want aligns with who God made you to be, heaven does not hesitate. Heaven moves, heaven rearranges, heaven opens doors, heaven whispers instruction, heaven sends confirmations, heaven brings people, resources, and opportunities into your orbit. Why? Because the chosen one's desire is not selfish. It is sacred. It is part of God's plan. This is why you do not desire what everyone else desires. You have noticed this about yourself since childhood. Your wants were always different. You dreamed differently. You saw the world differently. You felt a spiritual intensity that others did not feel. That was not personality, that was identity. Your desires were shaped by your calling. Some of the things you want right now, success, stability, love, healing, elevation, purpose, are not just personal hopes. They are divine instructions pulling you toward your destiny. You were not randomly drawn to those things. Your spirit recognized them long before your mind understood them. Heaven encoded these longings into your soul. This is why, when you try to walk away from your desires, you feel spiritually empty. This is why, when you ignore your calling, your life feels off balance. This is why trying to settle for less than what you truly want never works for you. You are spiritually allergic to mediocrity. You cannot force yourself to desire what does not match your identity. And let me tell you something powerful. What you want is proof of who you are becoming. Your desires evolve when your spirit evolves. Your wants become clearer when your calling unfolds. Your inner longing increases when heaven is preparing a blessing. The reason your desire feels stronger lately is because you are close, closer than you have ever been. Heaven intensifies desire when manifestation is near. Your spirit can sense the blessing before your mind can explain it. That tension you feel, that mixture of longing and excitement and restlessness, is the spiritual signal that what you want is approaching. Chosen one, the desire inside you is God saying, "It's yours, prepare for it." Heaven does not tease you. Heaven does not plant desires to torture you. Heaven places desire to guide you. This is why the enemy fought your desires so fiercely. Because if he could break your desire, he could derail your destiny. But he failed. You still want it. You still feel drawn to it. You still long for it. And that alone proves that heaven is still behind it. What you want is not only connected to who you are, it is connected to who you are becoming. God is shaping you daily into the version of yourself who can receive, sustain, and appreciate the blessing. Heaven does not respond to desperation, it responds to alignment. And chosen one, after everything you've endured, you are finally aligned. So do not doubt your desire. Do not shrink from it. Do not let the enemy convince you that it was wishful thinking. What you want is a divine clue, a map, a spiritual blueprint. And heaven is now matching your desire with action. You are not chasing the blessing. The blessing is on its way to you. Why? Because it belongs to your identity, and heaven always delivers what carries your name. Signs that heaven is working behind the scenes. Chosen one, before heaven gives you what you want, heaven sends signs. These signs are not loud, not dramatic, not chaotic. They are subtle, spiritual, and unmistakable. They appear quietly, almost softly, but they carry the weight of divine movement. And if you pay attention, you will notice that heaven has already begun revealing confirmation after confirmation that your blessing is on the way. One of the first signs is the sudden increase in prophetic dreams. Chosen ones do not dream randomly. When heaven is working behind the scenes, your dream life becomes more active. You start seeing symbols, messages, people from your past, open doors, new paths, or even light-filled environments. You may not fully understand the dreams, but you feel in your spirit that they mean something. That sense of significance is not imagination. It is heaven whispering, "Look, something is unfolding." Sometimes your dream will show progress before your life does. Sometimes your spirit receives the blessing before your hands touch it. Your dreams become previews of what is approaching. Pay attention to any dream that brings peace, clarity, or spiritual awakening. Those are heaven's signals. Another sign is angelic visitation, often in gentle, invisible ways. You may feel a sudden warmth in your room, a peace that settles on you for no logical reason, or a moment where it feels like someone walked past you even when you are alone. You may wake up at night with a calmness that makes no sense. These are not random sensations. These are angels moving, adjusting things in the unseen, clearing the spiritual path so your blessing can reach you without interference. When angels move, the atmosphere shifts. You will sense a difference around you, even if nothing looks different. A chosen one can feel heaven's activity the same way a sensitive person can feel weather change. That spiritual shift is evidence that heaven is working. Another powerful sign is sudden emotional clarity. For a long time you were confused, uncertain, conflicted, or overwhelmed. But suddenly, almost overnight, you begin to feel settled. Your mind becomes clearer. Your decisions feel easier. Your heart feels lighter. You feel more grounded. This clarity is not self-created. It is heaven removing spiritual clutter. When heaven is preparing to deliver something into your life, it removes the noise. It quiets your fears. It softens your anxieties. It replaces confusion with conviction. That sudden clarity is God saying, "The path is ready now." You may also notice unexpected alignment. Small things falling into place without effort. Opportunities appearing out of nowhere. People reaching out at the perfect time. Conversations opening doors you did not even knock on. Resources showing up without struggle. When things start aligning effortlessly, that is heaven organizing your breakthrough. Chosen ones do not get what they want through chaos. They get it through alignment. Heaven lines up the right people, the right timing, the right atmosphere, the right opportunities, the right instructions. When everything suddenly begins to feel synchronized, trust it. Heaven is adjusting your timeline. Another sign is spiritual sensitivity increasing. Out of nowhere, you begin to feel deeply connected to your spirit. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your prayers feel stronger. You begin to sense God more clearly. Scriptures speak louder. Your dreams become memorable. Signs appear around you repeatedly. You feel spiritually awake in a way that you haven't felt for years. This heightened sensitivity is not accidental. It happens because heaven is preparing you to receive. You cannot receive blindly. You must receive consciously. You must be spiritually attentive so that when the blessing arrives, you can recognize it instantly. You may also experience the removal of certain people or situations. Heaven often clears the environment before bringing your blessing. Someone may drift away. A situation may end abruptly. A relationship might dissolve. A door you wanted may close. Do not view this as loss. It is divine pruning. Heaven removes what does not match your next level. Sometimes God has to subtract before He multiplies. He has to remove distractions before He reveals destiny. He has to empty your hands before He fills them. The endings you have recently experienced were not setbacks. They were signs. Another sign is random moments of deep peace, even when life is imperfect. You may feel peace while washing dishes, walking outside, driving home, or waking up in the morning. This peace is supernatural. It is heaven's way of telling your spirit, "We've got this. What you desire is on its way." Peace is the language of heaven, and when heaven prepares your blessing, peace becomes unavoidable. Finally, pay attention to repeated numbers, signs, symbols, and patterns. Angels use numbers like 444, 777, or 999 to confirm spiritual alignment. You may see them on receipts, clocks, billboards, or online. These are not coincidences. They are timestamps from heaven saying, "We are moving." You might overhear conversations that answer questions you prayed about. You might see a message online that speaks exactly to your heart. You might feel goosebumps at the exact moment your spirit receives clarity. You might experience déjà vu because your spirit has already seen what you are about to step into. All of this is heaven surrounding you with confirmation that your desire is being honored. Chosen one. Heaven has already begun. The signs are everywhere around you. And if you're noticing these signs, it means the spiritual realm is preparing to deliver what your heart has been waiting for. Why you had to wait before receiving. Chosen one, you must understand something that very few people ever grasp. Your waiting season was not a punishment. It was preparation. Heaven never withholds something from a chosen one unless the chosen one is being shaped for something greater. What you were waiting for was not being delayed. It was being developed, and you were being developed alongside it. When you asked God for what you wanted, heaven didn't say no. Heaven said, "Not yet." Because chosen ones cannot receive blessings while they are still carrying wounds. You cannot step into destiny while holding the weight of old pain. You cannot grasp what heaven is giving if your hands are still occupied with the remnants of what broke you. The waiting season was heaven healing, cleansing, maturing, and preparing you to handle what you asked for. Think about who you were 2 years ago, 1 year ago, even 6 months ago. Were you spiritually stable enough? Were you emotionally grounded enough? Were you discerning enough? Were you strong enough? Were you wise enough to maintain the blessing after receiving it? Heaven doesn't want you to just receive. Heaven wants you to sustain, and sustainability requires spiritual maturity. That maturity is built in waiting. Chosen one, your waiting season was not quiet. It was loud with spiritual warfare, loud with lessons, loud with growth. Behind every moment of stillness, heaven was shaping your character, polishing your spirit, strengthening your discernment. The waiting wasn't about the blessing. It was about you. God was saying, "Before I give it to you, I must make you ready for it." Waiting is heaven's classroom. You learned how to pray deeper. You learned how to trust without evidence. You learned how to sit with God instead of running to people. You learned how to differentiate between your emotions and God's voice. You learned how to stand alone without collapsing. You learned how to take rejection without losing your identity. You learned how to let go. You learned how to forgive. You learned how to rise again. Those lessons were not accidental. They were essential. And here's a truth the chosen ones eventually discover. Waiting seasons purify your motives. When you first wanted this blessing, your desire might have been mixed with anxiety, insecurity, loneliness, pressure, or the need to prove something. But as you waited, God refined your desire. You stopped wanting it from fear. You started wanting it from alignment. You stopped wanting it to fill a void. You started wanting it because it matched your spirit. You stopped wanting it for emotional validation. You wanted it because it was part of your destiny. Heaven will not release a blessing until your desire matches God's intention. This is why certain opportunities did not work out before. This is why relationships fell apart. This is why doors stayed shut. It wasn't time. You weren't ready. The blessing wasn't ready. The environment wasn't ready. Heaven was still rearranging everything around you so that when the blessing arrived, nothing could contaminate it, delay it, or destroy it. Waiting protects you. If God had given you what you asked for earlier, people around you might have sabotaged it. You might have doubted it. The enemy might have stolen it. Your own insecurities might have ruined it. Heaven gave you the gift of divine delay, not to hold you back, but to hold you together. There is also this. Chosen ones grow the most during seasons of silence. When heaven goes quiet, chosen ones go deeper. You start asking questions you never asked before. You start observing things more closely. You start becoming sensitive to spiritual signals. Silence is heaven sharpening your inner vision. When the outside world grows still, your spiritual world becomes louder. That silence matured you in ways success never could, and you must understand another dimension of waiting. Heaven needed to protect you from premature exposure. If God had blessed you too soon, people with wrong motives would have attached themselves to your blessing instead of your spirit. If God had elevated you too early, you would have attracted attention you were not prepared to manage. If God had opened the door too quickly, you would have walked through it without the armor you needed for the new level. Premature blessings destroy unprepared people. Heaven loves you too much to let that happen. Waiting also revealed your enemies. When God delays certain blessings, people around you show their true nature. Some became jealous. Some distanced themselves. Some mocked your faith. Some doubted your calling. Some tried to discourage you. But heaven used that waiting time to expose hidden hearts. Now that you see clearly, no one will be able to sabotage what is coming. The last reason you had to wait is the most powerful one. Heaven needed your mindset to rise to the level of your blessing. Blessings require capacity. They require vision. They require confidence. They require faith. You asked for something big, something meaningful, something destiny-altering. And heaven needed to make sure your mind could sustain what your spirit would receive. Look at how you think now compared to before. You no longer beg, you expect. You no longer panic, you discern. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer question your worth, you understand your identity. Your entire mindset has shifted into the frequency of manifestation. That transformation was the real preparation. Chosen one, you did not wait because God forgot you. You waited because heaven was building the version of you who could stand next to the blessing you prayed for. And now that version of you has emerged. Your waiting season is ending. Your alignment season is beginning. And what you want, what you have always wanted, is now within reach. The alignment phase. Everything falling into place. Chosen one, now that you understand why you had to wait, it's time to recognize the season you have just entered. This is not the season of delay, not the season of struggle, not the season of confusion. You have stepped into the alignment phase, the supernatural moment when everything begins falling into place with divine precision. Alignment is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is not chance. Alignment is heaven's signature. It is the evidence that the spiritual realm is positioning everything in your favor. It is God whispering through circumstances, "Watch what I am doing." When alignment begins, the chosen one no longer has to chase. What belongs to them begins to move toward them. This is why recently you've been feeling a quiet shift. Things that once felt blocked are opening. Situations that stressed you are dissolving. People who drained you are being removed. New opportunities are appearing without you forcing anything. You are not imagining this. This is alignment. Heaven is rearranging the spiritual landscape around you. Alignment often begins internally. You feel clearer in your spirit. Your thoughts feel calmer. Your intuition becomes stronger. You no longer want what doesn't match your future. Your heart slowly releases everything that held you down. You begin to crave silence, truth, spiritual depth, and genuine peace. This inner shift is heaven telling you, prepare, what you want is on the way. Once the internal alignment starts, external alignment follows. Suddenly, conversations begin flowing in your favor. People you needed appear at the right moment. Doors that were closed without explanation begin to open without effort. Opportunities arise that match exactly what you've been praying for, but in ways you never expected. This is heaven coordinating what your hands could not. Chosen one, you have to understand something. When alignment begins, everything accelerates. What once took months begins to take days. What once required force begins to require nothing but presence. What once felt complicated becomes simple. Heaven is not slow. Heaven is strategic. And when the moment is right, God wastes no time. You may notice that you are suddenly meeting the right people. Not just anyone. People who speak your spiritual language. People who resonate with your purpose. People who can help you step into your next level. People whose presence feels like confirmation. These individuals are not random. They were positioned by heaven. Divine connections are one of the clearest signs of alignment. Heaven brings you people who carry keys for doors you couldn't open alone. Another sign of alignment is divine timing. Everything starts happening at the exact moment you need it. Not earlier, not later, but perfectly on time. You will begin to notice synchronicities that feel too precise to be ordinary. Someone calls you right when you're thinking of them. A message arrives at the exact moment you needed clarity. A door opens exactly when you felt stuck. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Alignment also reveals what is not for you. Suddenly, things that once attracted you no longer hold your interest. Relationships you considered fall away naturally. Habits you used to cling to lose their appeal. Paths you once wanted become invisible. This is not confusion, it is refinement. Heaven is clearing distractions so the blessing can land in a clean, focused environment. Alignment removes what cannot stay. Chosen one, when heaven begins aligning your path, you will also feel spiritual momentum. Your energy rises, your motivation returns, your hope strengthens. You start waking up feeling like something good is coming. You may not know what it is yet, but your spirit senses heaven's movement. That momentum is heaven pushing you toward your blessing. Another sign is ease, not laziness, not passivity, ease. The chosen ones fight hard in the waiting season, but once alignment comes, they step into a flow. Things start working with you instead of against you. God lubricates the path. What once required force now requires trust. You don't have to push doors open, they open at your arrival. And then comes the most beautiful sign of alignment, confirmation upon confirmation. Repeated messages, repeated numbers, repeated signs, repeated feelings, repeated dreams. Heaven keeps sending hints until you realize, this is happening. Heaven is moving for me. The universe echoes the same message from multiple directions because heaven wants you confident, not confused. During the alignment phase, your identity also shifts. You begin to feel worthy, not doubtful. You begin to feel chosen, not forgotten. You begin to expect blessings instead of fearing disappointment. You begin to operate with authority instead of insecurity. This internal shift is heaven upgrading your mindset so that when the blessing arrives, you feel at home with it. Heaven aligns your identity before heaven aligns your reality. Chosen one, the alignment phase is not subtle. When heaven is ready, your entire life begins to feel different. The air feels lighter, time moves differently. Your spirit feels guided. You walk with purpose even without having all the details. You sense that something is working for you, and your heart becomes calm, not because you received the blessing yet, but because your spirit knows it is inevitable. This is where you are right now. The alignment around you is proof that heaven's mission has begun. You are no longer in the season of delay. You are in the season of divine synchronization. Things are falling into place, not randomly, but purposefully. You are stepping into the moment where want meets destiny, desire meets fulfillment, prayer meets manifestation. Chosen one, heaven is not just preparing the blessing. Heaven is positioning you inside the blessing. Everything is aligning, everything is shifting, everything is moving, and all of it is happening to bring you one step closer to the very thing your heart has been waiting for. How heaven delivers what you want. Chosen one, now that you understand alignment, it's time to reveal something far more powerful. How heaven actually delivers what you want. This is the part most people never understand. They think blessings fall from the sky or appear suddenly without reason. But chosen ones know better. Heaven moves with strategy, precision, and divine intelligence. Nothing God gives you is random. Every blessing is delivered through a spiritual process. The first way heaven delivers what you want is through divine orchestration. This is when heaven arranges situations, conversations, relationships, and events in a sequence so perfect that only God could have designed it. You may not see heaven's hand, but you will see the results. Doors opening, opportunities aligning, people appearing at the exact moment you need them. It will feel like every part of your life is being placed into position like pieces on a chessboard. Heaven moves first. Everything else follows. Another way heaven delivers is by clearing obstacles that were blocking your blessing. Sometimes you do not receive what you want because something or someone was standing in the way. A toxic relationship, a draining friendship, a limiting belief, a fear you didn't know you had, a job that kept you stuck, a mindset that wasn't ready. Heaven doesn't bring the blessing until the path is clean. So when people leave, understand that heaven is removing what stood between you and the blessing. Heaven also delivers through supernatural timing. You might feel like you're late. You might think you missed your moment. But heaven doesn't work with human time. It works with destiny time. God releases blessings exactly when they have the greatest impact, the highest benefit, and the deepest alignment. What felt delayed was actually being perfectly timed. This is why, when the blessing finally comes, it comes effortlessly. Heaven waited for the moment when everything was ready. One of the most powerful ways heaven delivers is through divine instruction. Sometimes God will whisper something small to your spirit. Send this message. Look at this opportunity. Apply here. Go today. Wait. Move. Speak. These tiny instructions often lead to massive breakthroughs. The chosen ones who listen closely are the ones who receive quickly. Heaven guides your steps, not by shouting, but by nudging your spirit. Heaven also delivers blessings by transforming your desires so that what you want and what God wants become the same thing. This is one of the greatest mysteries of being chosen. You think you are chasing a desire, but heaven placed that desire inside you because it aligns with your destiny. God shapes your heart as He shapes your blessing. That's why the thing you want the most carries a spiritual weight. It was never just about your personal wish. It was your calling pulling you forward. Another method heaven uses is preparation through isolation. When you are about to receive something great, heaven pulls you away from noise, distraction, and unnecessary people. This isolation is not loneliness, it is divine preparation. You learn to hear God more clearly, you see your value more deeply, you understand your identity more strongly. Heaven isolates you before it elevates you. Heaven also delivers through accelerated alignment. This is when things that normally take years start happening in weeks or days. A breakthrough that should have taken months arrives suddenly. A connection that should have taken time falls into place instantly. A door that was once locked swings open without warning. Chosen ones experience acceleration because heaven compresses time when destiny is ready. Another beautiful way heaven delivers is through confirmation. When you're close to receiving what you want, heaven sends repeated signs, dreams, numbers, messages, conversations, intuition, peace. These signs are heaven's notifications telling you, stay aligned, it's almost here. Confirmation is not encouraging you, it's informing you. Heaven also delivers by changing you first. Before the blessing comes, God works inside you. He strengthens you. He removes fear. He heals wounds. He builds wisdom. He deepens your spirit. He sharpens your discernment. When heaven finishes working in you, heaven begins working for you. Blessings always arrive to match the version of you that can handle them. And here is one of the most overlooked ways heaven delivers. God softens hearts. The person who once resisted you suddenly becomes open. The opportunity that once rejected you becomes welcoming. The situation that once felt impossible becomes approachable. Heaven works on the hearts of people connected to your next chapter. Nothing moves unless God moves it. Chosen one, when heaven is delivering your blessing, you will feel it. You will sense the shift. You will know something is coming, not because of emotion, but because your spirit begins vibrating at a higher frequency. You start waking up with expectation. You start seeing signs everywhere. You start feeling grateful before anything arrives. That's not hope, that's alignment. There comes a moment in this delivery process where heaven requires something from you. Agreement. When you feel the blessing approaching, you must align your spirit with it. Speak in agreement. Think in agreement. Live in agreement. Heaven cannot deliver what you mentally reject. This is why I want you to declare something right now in the comments. I agree with what heaven is sending me. I receive it. Your agreement is the final key. Your readiness is the final requirement. Your faith is the final activation. Heaven delivers blessings when everything, your spirit, the timing, the environment, and the divine orchestration falls into place like a lock clicking open. Chosen one, heaven is delivering what you want. Not later, not someday. The process has already begun. You are not waiting for it. It is coming for you. Becoming the version of yourself that can receive. Chosen one, now that you understand how heaven delivers blessings, it's time to uncover one of the deepest mysteries of your journey. Before heaven gives you what you want, heaven makes you become the version of yourself who can receive it. Blessings do not just require faith, they require identity. You cannot receive a blessing with the same mindset that once doubted it. You cannot step into destiny while still carrying the wounds of your past. You cannot hold what is divine with hands shaped by fear. This is why heaven has been transforming you from the inside out. You may not always see the transformation clearly, but heaven sees every shift. You are not who you were last year. You are not even who you were 6 months ago. The storms you survived, the heartbreak you healed from, the betrayals that toughened you, the disappointments that matured you, these were not random events. They were spiritual renovation. Heaven was upgrading your character, shaping your wisdom, sharpening your spirit, and cleansing your heart so that the blessing you are about to receive will not destroy you. Chosen one, understand this truth deeply. Your blessing is big. It is weighty. It carries purpose. It carries responsibility. It carries influence. It carries spiritual significance. This is why heaven demanded the upgraded version of you, not the wounded version, not the insecure version, not the easily manipulated version, not the self-doubting version. Heaven asked for the version of you who knows who they are. To receive a divine blessing, you must become spiritually stable. You must become emotionally grounded. You must become mentally strong. You must be able to steward the blessing, protect it, nurture it, grow it. Heaven was not delaying you. Heaven was preparing you to receive without collapsing, to hold without breaking, to succeed without self-sabotage. This is why God allowed challenges. Challenges did not come to crush you. They came to reveal the parts of you that needed strengthening. Every rejection increased your resilience. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every loss purified your desires. Every setback humbled your spirit. Every waiting season deepened your patience. Heaven used these experiences as training grounds. You see, chosen one, blessings come with weight, and heaven will never place a heavy blessing on an unsteady foundation. So heaven spent years making you unmoved by people's opinions, unbroken by loneliness, unshaken by fear, and unafraid to stand alone. Because only someone who stands strong alone can stand strong with a blessing. Becoming the version of yourself who can receive also means letting go of old identities. Heaven has been removing the labels others placed on you. Not enough, unworthy, too much, too sensitive, too spiritual, too emotional. These labels were never yours. They were projections of people who couldn't see your calling. Heaven dismantled those lies so you could finally recognize yourself through God's eyes, not the world's distortions. Heaven has also been teaching you self-worth. Why? Because if your worth is shaky, you will reject the blessing even when it shows up. You will overthink it. You will push it away. You will sabotage it. You will convince yourself you don't deserve it. So heaven taught you to love yourself, value yourself, and believe in yourself. Heaven taught you to stop settling. Heaven taught you to stop shrinking. Heaven taught you to stop doubting your own power. This inner confidence is not arrogance. It is spiritual readiness. Another part of becoming the version who can receive is learning discernment. You needed to learn who deserves access to your life. You needed to learn who drains your spirit. You needed to learn who carries spiritual danger. You needed to learn how to feel energy shifts. You needed to learn to identify people who come with hidden intentions. Heaven trained your intuition because when your blessing arrives, the enemy will send counterfeits to destroy it. But now, chosen one, your spirit is too sharp for deception. Heaven also needed to teach you emotional discipline. Not every emotion should control your steps. Not every feeling needs a reaction. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Heaven needed you to learn calmness, stillness, and inner stability so that nothing can shake you out of alignment when your blessing comes. You are no longer reactive, you are spiritually composed. This is the posture required to receive. You also had to learn trust, deep, spiritual trust. The kind of trust that persists when it sees nothing. The kind of trust that remains even after disappointment. The kind of trust that does not panic when plans fall apart. The kind of trust that knows heaven is never late. Without this trust, you would misinterpret delays as denial, obstacles as rejection, and silence as abandonment. Now, you understand that heaven speaks loudest in the quiet moments. Chosen one, becoming the version of yourself that can receive also means embracing purpose. The blessing you want does not exist only for your comfort. It exists for your calling. Heaven aligned your desires with divine assignment, and now you are becoming someone who can walk in purpose without fear, insecurity, or hesitation. And finally, you had to learn gratitude before the blessing. Gratitude is the vibration that attracts manifestation. You had to learn to thank God for blessings you could not see yet. You had to learn to feel blessed before anything changed. You had to learn to walk like someone already chosen. Gratitude aligned your energy with heaven's frequency. Chosen one, you have become exactly who heaven needed you to be. You have developed the strength, maturity, clarity, and identity required to receive what you once prayed for with trembling hands. You have grown into the version of yourself that your blessing recognizes. The blessing is not moving toward who you used to be. It is moving toward who you are now. This transformation was the final step. And now that it is complete, heaven can release what you want without fear of it being wasted, mishandled, or stolen. You are ready. The blessing is ready. Heaven is ready. You will get what you want. Chosen one, now that you have walked through revelation, alignment, preparation, and transformation, it is time for you to hear the truth your spirit has been waiting for. You will get what you want. Not maybe, not someday, not if you're lucky, not if things magically work out. No, heaven has determined it. Heaven has signed it. Heaven has commanded it. What you want has already been set in motion long before you ever prayed your first prayer about it. Let this sink into your soul. The blessing you desire is not floating in uncertainty. It is not lost. It is not stuck. It is not delayed anymore. It is on assignment. It is moving toward you with divine intelligence. The angels have already begun repositioning the spiritual realm to accommodate the arrival of your blessing. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has not neglected you. Heaven has been preparing the perfect moment, this moment. Chosen one, what you asked God for was not small. It was not ordinary. It carried spiritual weight. It carried destiny. This is why the journey was long. This is why the warfare was intense. This is why the waiting felt endless. This is why the process felt heavy. Heaven was not delaying you. Heaven was protecting the blessing from arriving too early, too small, too fragile, or too exposed. Now heaven is saying, it is time. You endured the tests. You survived the lonely seasons. You grew through the heartbreak. You learned the lessons. You released what no longer served you. You refined your spirit. You matured into someone heaven can trust. You did not break. You transformed. You did not lose. You evolved. You did not collapse. You rose. And because of that, what you want is no longer out of reach. It is aligned with your identity, your preparation, and your purpose. You were not waiting for the blessing. The blessing was waiting for you. Chosen one, hear me clearly. You cannot miss what heaven has assigned to your spirit. People can fail you. Timing can shift. Circumstances can change. But when heaven is the architect, nothing and no one can interfere. What is yours cannot be stolen. What is written cannot be erased. What is divine cannot be denied. Your breakthrough isn't coming through people. It's coming through providence. Your elevation isn't coming from luck. It's coming from heaven. Your blessing isn't coming by accident. It's coming by assignment. What you want is not too big for God. What you want is not too late for God. What you want is not impossible for God. You are a chosen one, and chosen ones never desire anything that heaven has not secretly prepared for them. That longing inside you was never ordinary longing. It was a prophecy, a spiritual memory, a divine reminder of what your soul already knows is yours. This is why everything you went through has suddenly started making sense. You now see why certain people left, why certain doors closed, why certain opportunities fell apart, why you felt isolated, why you were hidden, why you struggled silently. It was all preparation, because what you're about to receive requires the strongest, clearest, most spiritually awakened version of yourself. And now that version is here. Chosen one, there is something you must do right now. Step into expectation, not hope, not maybe, not doubt mixed with faith. Expectation. Expectation activates heaven. Expectation aligns your energy with the blessing. Expectation tells the spiritual realm, I am ready. You must also guard your thoughts, guard your emotions, guard your atmosphere. When heaven is delivering a blessing, the enemy tries to send distractions, fear, or confusion to pull you out of alignment. But you are wiser now, you are sharper now, you are spiritually awakened now. Nothing can pull you out of position. Not anymore. You have endured too much to lose your blessing at the finish line. You have fought too many battles to walk away empty-handed. You have carried too much pain to end without promise. The story of your life is shifting from survival to fulfillment, from longing to receiving, from waiting to walking in what is yours. Chosen one, your time is not coming, your time is here. Your blessing is not approaching, it is arriving. Your desire is not forming, it is finalizing. And I want you to affirm this right now with authority in the comments as a prophetic act. I claim it, I receive it, heaven is delivering what is mine. This declaration is not symbolic, it is spiritual alignment. Heaven hears the chosen ones speak, and heaven moves when the chosen ones agree. And before we close, hear this final prophetic truth that seals everything you have learned. The moment you stop doubting yourself is the moment heaven stops delaying your blessing. You have stepped into that moment. You have stopped doubting. You are aligned. You are awakened. You are ready. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with boldness. Walk forward with expectation. Walk forward knowing heaven is not thinking about moving for you. Heaven is moving. Heaven is on mission. Heaven is delivering. Heaven is accelerating. Heaven is releasing exactly what you want, exactly when you need it, exactly how your destiny requires it. Chosen one, you will get what you want, because it was never just your want. It was heaven's plan. And now, as you prepare to step deeper into your destiny, I want you to stay connected. Subscribe to Rise of the Chosen. Tap the bell icon so you never miss another divine message. Share this video with another chosen one who needs confirmation right now, because heaven is moving, and so are you. This is your season. This is your alignment. This is your blessing. This is your rise.